Hi there! The Forgotten Video Store is a weird and kind of gross rental store in North Hollywood where all their videos are bootlegs of unreleased, lost, or otherwise impossible to find movies. On this podcast, we go to the Forgotten Video Store and rent one of their movies and try to make sense of it. I'm your host, David Murto, aka Daddy Big Cup. And my guest this time came all the way from the great country of Canada, Ottawa, in fact. He's the host of the Shark Cinema podcast, Bucket of Chum. Steve Coates is here, aka Captain Steve. Steve, thanks so much for coming all the way to North Hollywood to go to the video store with me.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really pleasant to just be down here this time of year.
Yeah, a little warm. Otherwise good. You picked out an interesting movie called The Goon Cave. Kind of a inspirational sports drama, gets your blood pumping. In the tradition of something like, Mighty Ducks 2, where they go to the Olympics, or like parts of Marty Supreme, I guess.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. Very, very inspirational, think like Rocky, Remember the Titans, things like that really get you like a true underdog story,
This movie's set in New York, and our first scene is on the subway, right? We meet Nick Nolte. He's still alive, right?
I'm pretty sure he is, yeah. I think I've seen him show up in movies recently, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it's Nick Nolte, and he's on the train, and he notices something a little unusual, and it's a young man, maybe about 20 years old, a young 20.
Yeah, not too young.
Right. Not underage by any means. He's got his phone out and he's looking at some illicit videos on it. And he's got his other hand like under his coat, and you see some movement going on. Nick Nolte is kind of watching him for a while, and you see like the sign where all the stops are, and it's like one stop after the other, after the other, after the other, and Nick Nolte's kind of blown away. He goes up, he sits next to this kid, and we see it's Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things and It, bunch of current stuff. He kind of like real quick hits his phone and like goes to a different app, and it's like starts playing Candy Crush or whatever, and it's like, I was just playing Candy Crush. And Nick Nolte's like, I know what you're doing, and I think you got something. I think you could go pro.
And that's literally all he needs to be like all in on this. Like it's like he's been waiting his whole life for this moment. Like you can picture Finn Wolfhard just going around like gooning everywhere he goes. Like goes to the coffee shop, he's gooning, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a screenwriter going to Starbucks and hoping they get discovered by somebody. Like, oh, I'm writing my screenplay.
Actors hoping they get scouted in the local stage production.
Well, he goes to places and goons and hopes he gets discovered gooning.
This kid's gooning constantly, and so this is what he was angling for, right? By gooning in public to show off his skills. This is great for this kid. He's a nobody. And we got to see some of his like home life, and he lives like he rents a room in like a townhouse, and the room is like, a closet size, and I've never seen a bed that skinny. The people he rents from are always playing loud music and stuff, and so he's always dreaming of like, what if I hit the big time, I could get my own place. Nick Nolte's like, I can make it happen for you. He signs him up for some small exhibition matches. What they do I don't know, maybe some of my listeners aren't big sports fans and don't know much about the world of wank battles, but you can sign up, like anyone can sign up for like the exhibition matches, especially in big cities like New York, and you get like 50 people gooning. I think they rent out like a high school gymnasium or something, and everyone has to bring their own laptops and stuff. You bust, you're out. So you have to simultaneously send the other wankers the hottest photos you can find whilst looking at the stuff they're sending you and trying to keep your nut inside. Pretty soon everyone's just texting hot pictures to each other until it's down to just a couple guys left. And we see like this kid, Finn Wolfhard. That's an interesting name, Wolfhard. Kind of apropos for this movie because he's hard throughout 90% of the runtime.
It's like he was born to play this part.
It's like there's like 50 people in the room, then there's 25 because everyone starts busting. And they do a montage of like a bunch of different guys busting at different points. And then it's down to him and one other guy And what they're doing is texting sexy pictures to each other and trying to get the other one to bust. So this guy sends him something really hot, and it's a young woman named Lena Paul. And this is not someone I'm familiar with, and I'm not familiar with her work, but she really gets Finn Wolfhard going, and he busts. And they do like a close up, and then the semen kind of goes all over his screen. And so he's out of the match, and he's like despondent, and he's like, I'm sorry I let you down, Nick Nolte. And Nick Nolte's just like, you got the raw talent. I learned something from my colleagues in baseball. They said, if you're with 2 tryouts and they both run the 100-meter dash at the same time, but one has awful form and one has perfect form, you pick the one with awful form because you can train him to be better. And I'm like, that's really interesting. So what he's doing is like, this kid has something going. He's just playing the game in the wrong way. And what Nick Nolte explains is the whole thing about wank battles is you're not just preventing yourself from busting. You're reading your opponent and making them bust.
Yeah, it's very much, at the end of the day, just a mind game for everybody involved. Like, it's a mind game for the audience. It's a mind game for Finn Wolfhard, Nick Nolte, all the people just, like, in the wank-offs. Like, it's, like, you have to read your opponent's, like, whole body when they're doing it, right? Like, you got to look for, like, little ticks, like, oh, maybe this guy's about to bust because, you know, maybe his, like, elbow twitches or something. So it's like you really got to, like, read into, like, the little nuances that everybody has.
You got to know when to hit him with the really hot photo.
Damn right.
So Finn Wolfhard is real disappointed. He thought he was going to have to quit the sport or whatever. But Nick Nolte's like, we got something going here. But he's not the only one who was impressed by Finn Wolfhard's performance. He also drew the attention of some small business. What were they called?
It was something like Mom and Pop's Goon Emporium, like for all your gooning needs or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Kind of like how like NASCAR, right? Like you need a sponsor, and like so they become like one of the sponsors for
right,
them.
Yeah. And he wears the jacket that's like Mom and Pop's. They were nice characters. It was like a husband and wife team who run this Goon Emporium. When I was in college, our sex shop in town was called College Books because they assumed all the college students were using their parents' credit cards. And so when the statement would come back, it would just be like, oh, they're spending a lot of money at college books. That's great.
Saints. Absolute saints.
Yeah, but this in the movie, it's a little different. They're kind of cut right to the point. It's Mom and Pop's Goon Emporium. You know, this is their first sponsorship. So everyone's kind of like the underdog, right? It's like Nick Nolte. Oh, and this is when we learn a little bit more about his backstory. Is he went pro like back in the 70s, and he made it all the way to the finals, but his opponent sent him like a still, like a promotional still from I Love Lucy. And the game was a little different back then because they didn't have the internet and texting and stuff. So you had to bring a briefcase with all the sexy pictures you could find. Lots of Sears catalogs and stuff like that. But anyway, Nick Nolte got shown the picture of Lucille Ball, and he busted big time. And he's like regretted it ever since. He's like always trying to regain that prestige. And so it's kind of like a personal mission for him too, is to get Finn Wolfhard to the finals.
I mean, hey, Lucy will do it to any of us. Very beautiful woman. But yeah, like you said, like the stakes are high because even for like Mom and Pop, like if Finn Wolfhard's character wins, then their shop is going to see like a ton of business. Mm-hmm. And then like, not to mention like the merchandising opportunities, like you can have like a little Finn Wolfhard gooning doll or whatever. Like there's just all kinds of things they can do if they are able to succeed.
There's that scene where they do like a mold of his genitalia so they can like, if you're a big hit, we can sell this as a dildo. We could do a vibrator model.
Yeah, wasn't that also like one of the prizes like at the end of the movie or something? Like there was like part of the grand prize is like merchandising, but like you get to keep like all of the rights to it, but like they will help produce it or something like that.
Yeah, that's actually, that's how George Lucas became a billionaire, was from keeping the merchandising rights. So That's probably a good move.
That
for
is
Finn
true, yeah.
Wolfhard. His wasn't a sex shop thing, though. His was for Star Wars figures. So a little different, but kind of the same.
Little indie movie from the 70s.
There's this wonderful part where Nick Nolte's like, we got to run drills. He's going to run drills, and there's like the training. And Finn Wolfhard basically says, like, I don't need any more training. I've been rubbing one out every day since I was 14 years old. And then Nick Nolte, like, grabs him by the collar, like pulls him real close. It's kind of a tense moment. He's like, rubbing one out is the antithesis of gooning. Rubbing one out, you're just going through the motions, getting it out of the way. Gooning, you're taking your time. You're making the experience last as long as possible. And that's what a wank battle is all about.
I mean, it's really like a meditation battle. I mean, you can almost compare it to yoga, like the like relaxation and like the type of thing you're trying to achieve. Like, yeah, I mean, some of these guys are coming early and achieving that, but like they're not achieving like true like gooning nirvana, which is like the ultimate gooning goal.
Yeah, it's like a headspace. It's like a runner's high, kind of. It's a different headspace that most of us can never experience. But Nick Nolte, like, he's like, we gotta run drills. And then we get into like a really like rousing training montage with like a, you know, the music really gets your heart pumping. We've seen similar stuff in Rocky.
Better than Rocky. Like, better than Rocky's music. Like, this is like one for the ages. Like, Rocky, like, yeah, who's heard of him after seeing this? Yeah, so he takes him to, like, a strip club to goon in there, but, like, obviously he can't finish. But so, like, the goal is, like, you know, stay in the strip club for as long as possible and, like, not finish and just goon away, basically till they shut the place down. But, of course, this speeds by very quickly. Like, you know, we're shown, like, back and forth of him, like, failing to do this. Then he takes them to, like, you know, other places, like an old person home, like a retirement home sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
Then at one point they, like, were in front of the Lincoln Memorial, which was weird, but I mean, like, you got to do it everywhere, you know, most inconvenience places. I mean, if you're going to train, you may as well train. It's like in Rocky 2 where he's, like, chasing chickens around, or in, like, Rocky 4 where he's chopping wood and whatnot. It's like, I guess this has something to do with boxing. I don't know. But gooning's the same thing. You never know.
And he does like finger exercises where he has to like flick his scrotum, and that helps for some reason, I guess. I'm not an expert. Then he does like different hand techniques, different lotions. And you do, like, over the course of the montage, he gets a little better and then a little better. And finally, they're back at the strip club, and like all the strippers are like dancing and stuff. But one by one, they start seeing what's going on, and all their jaws drop, kind of like a, you know, the Spielberg face, where they're like, "Oh my god!" And they see this kid gooning, and he's reached a whole level of gooning, and he's never gonna bust. And so then he gets in like a winning streak, right? And he's facing different opponents. He has learned to read people, right? Because there's one scene and he's like, I know exactly, like, he takes one look at this guy and this guy's got a big appetite, you know, and he sends like feeding images.
Yeah, like mukbang videos.
There's another guy and he's like, I can barely get this guy to move. This is mostly a movie podcast, so I'm not sure if all my listeners are into sports, but one of the key rules of wank battling is that you must remain turgid throughout the battle. You can't go flaccid at any point or you forfeit the game.
Right.
But there's one point where it's like nothing is moving the needle with this guy. What Finn Wolfhard does is he looks over at his opponent and he notices he's got a rainbow flag tattoo. And he's like, oh, this guy's probably gay. And that's how he's not beating me, with all these beautiful women I'm sending him. So what he does is he texts him a picture of Michael B. Jordan with his shirt off. And the guy busts and he wins the match.
That'll do it every time. Smart move on his part. I don't know, just inspirational. Like, he's managing to like send images and pick them out on his phone and send them to like the right people at the right time. Like, and again, like, that's all part of it too. So like, there's really a lot going on when you think about it, because like, he's got to remain hard, which I mean, for Wolfhard, I mean, that should be easy for him. So like, that's like part of the endurance part of it, but you've also got to be like continuously like stroking and whatnot too. I mean, there's like different rules for like how fast and how slow you can kind of go, kind of like the long walk, except you don't get shot in this one. I think like at some points like you're not allowed to close your eyes for very long. Like you have to like sort of be focused on like what's going on around you. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty nuanced thing. Like I can't even remember or get into like everything that goes into it, but it's pretty impressive. If you get a chance to, see some of this in real life, I highly recommend it.
There's big events all over. In LA, it's the crypto.com arena is where they hold the wank battles now. But you can catch most of it on ESPN2.
Right.
Finn Wolfhard. He's making his way up, and he gets to the final tournament,
which I think takes place in Madison Square Garden, I think.
And they've turned it into a beautiful Goon Cave. Screens every which way. They've got like the ergonomic chairs for all the competitors.
Comfy as hell.
This movie maybe had a Kalshi tie-in, like a product placement thing. Kalshi, the betting odds, and like Finn Wolfhard's like all the way at the bottom or whatever. And Kalshi, great, wonderful company that's done wonders for getting children addicted to gambling, forging new frontiers in insider trading. Just a wonderful company, and we salute them, especially for their involvement in this movie, The Goon Cave.
True heroes, each and every one of them.
This is all one-on-one battles, right? It's like a tournament of the top 8 guys.
Sure. I think like just him and Nick Nolte, while everybody else has like big teams, almost like a pit crew with them, and like almost like talking into headsets as well, being like, no, your technique's all wrong. And
he like barely scratches out a win by sending his opponent. He sends his opponent a photo of Angela White, who's a woman, a lovely woman. I'm not familiar with her. I don't know her work at all. But that really gets his opponent going. And then he sends a picture of Lana Rhoades, who's a lovely woman. I don't know her work. I'm not familiar with her at all outside of this movie.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm sure, people listening could just go and Google it at home and, they'll be able to figure it out. Like, what her movie database is or whatever.
Yeah, and I'd strongly recommend that. But he's getting hit with like pictures of Riley Reid, who's someone I don't know who that is or anything. I'm not familiar with her work. He almost busts, but then he finally, like, the other guy busts, and he goes and he's like breaking down in sweat in the locker rooms and stuff, and is like, Nick, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. Nick Nolte like grabs him again and does like an inspirational speech about like, this isn't just about you. This is about all the guys that are in their parents' basement and telling mom and dad, you have to knock before you come in. And all the kids who have to throw away their socks after a few weeks. You're doing it for all of them. Oh, I forgot to mention there's a love interest at one point, and like she's trying to get him to like give up the gooning or whatever. Women are always in movies are always trying to get the guys to give up their dreams. So she's like, you got to stop this because you don't have any energy left for me after all these wank battles. And of course he has to ditch her. And that's a real inspiring moment where a young man realizes that wank battles are more important than personal relationships.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's like, it's like video gaming, some people just can't having like a video gaming boyfriend or girlfriend because they spend all their time gaming while he's gooning, he's wanking, he's doing these competitions. But I mean, I don't know, he's putting the work in, so I'm like, it's pretty inspirational on him. And I mean, it's kind of shitty of her to be like,
yeah,
oh, you can't be masturbating in your room all day, you can't be like masturbating on the subway, you can't be gooning at the Lincoln Memorial, like you can't be gooning at Thanksgiving. And it's like, if I can't goon at Thanksgiving, what am I supposed to be thankful for at the end of the day?
She's not accepting him for the person he is. Like, gooning is what he does. It's part of his name, Finn Wolfhard.
He's not one of those things, where I can change him. Like, no, he's the goon master by the end of this movie.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't change this man.
He makes it to the finals. He had this inspirational speech from Nick Nolte, and he goes up against a stone cold killer. They go up and they have to shake hands, right? Right before the big meet, the final match. His ultimate adversary, and is played by Timothée Chalamet. And you get one look at that guy and you're like, that guy knows how to whack off. That guy's he's got the reps in.
He knows what he's doing. It's like it's a natural talent for him. Like he didn't really need to practice at it. Like it just came to him.
And they grab hands, and what Chalamet does is he pulls Finn Wolfhard in real close and he whispers in his ear, I will drain you. And you're like, whoa, this is intense. And so they get going. I've never seen anything like this. They go for days. And there's no bathroom breaks, no food breaks. So they're both becoming extremely weak.
And like the whole country is watching this go down because like...
Yeah, it's like the Truman Show where they go like someone's watching in the back.
At certain points, they like start breaking records.
There's, everyone at the bar is like watching in silence the TV on ESPN2 where they got the final wank battle. Finn Wolfhard, his skill has always been reading his opponent, and he's having so much trouble reading this guy, right? And he's sending photos of Eliza Ibarra, who I don't know who that is. I'm not familiar with her work. He sends photos of Scarlet Scandal, who I don't know who that is. I'm not familiar with her work or anything, but beautiful women. And
a lot of like indie actors and things like that, it seems like.
But nothing's working, and they've been going for days, and he's just like getting hit with image after image. And what happens is you see Finn Wolfhard's hog, and then you see like his balls kind of expand, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And then you kind of see the nut working its way at the bottom of the shaft, start working its way up the shaft like a snake swallowing a rabbit whole, but in reverse, and it's inching its way up his thing, and you're like, oh no, he's gonna lose. And then he's like, I really gotta do like a Hail Mary at this point. I gotta try something that's never been done. And what he does is he sends a picture of Jane Campion in a business suit to Chalamet. And Chalamet's like, he's seen it all in his life. He's seen the sexiest, weirdest, most depraved images of any of us. He's kind of circled around and become so kinky that the least kinky thing has become like the ultimate in pleasure to him. So he sees a mature woman in a business suit, and he's like, and they're like, there's a big splash, and they're like, it's a photo finish. And they have to do like the frame by frame, like it's a horse race on these two guys' hogs. And they do like one right next to the other on the screen. It's like split screen. And you see the stuff come out of Chalamet's like a fraction of a second before out of Finn Wolfhard's. And everyone's like, oh my God.
Crowd goes absolutely wild.
And there's fireworks. I didn't know they could do fireworks like indoors, which was cool, but they can apparently. People rush the stage, and they're like, and they run up to like Finn, and Nick Nolte's there, and he runs up and he's going to give Finn Wolfhard a hug, but then he slipped on something sticky and he fell flat on his back. That was sad. I was worried for Nick Nolte for a second there.
But luckily he stands back up after they pry him off the ground.
Chalamet's really pissed, but he takes it okay. He like goes and he shakes his hand and he's like, good wank battle. And they can both like barely move, right? And then their hands get stuck together because they're so sticky.
And then he's like, you could be my goon man any day.
And then Mom and Pop's Goon Emporium, they start franchising, and soon there's one in all the major cities. Finn Wolfhard's dildo is a top seller. A really wonderful story. And the reporters like come up to him and it's like, what are you're the top gooner in all of North America. What are you going to do next? And he's like, training for next season starts tonight. And it's like, that's how serious this guy is.
I can't wait for a sequel. Yeah, I'd love to see where else they take this story. I'd love to see what else like Nick Nolte does. International? Yeah, I mean, that would be absolutely wild to see like a worldwide goon wank off championship. That would be insane.
Yeah, because every country has their own different styles, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, thanks for picking out that movie. It was really rousing. You saw a tear came to my eye in the last scene when he won, and everyone was coming out to congratulate him. So it was very moving. Do you have anything you want to promote? The show, of course, Bucket of Chum.
Yeah, so I have a podcast called Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast. I talk about shark movies or other aquatic horror, mostly shark movies. I've been on a bit of a hiatus throughout this year, but I'm still doing stuff over on Patreon. I've got a YouTube channel that I throw all my episodes on as well. Coming up in July, I will be doing the month of action with Give Me Back My Action and horror movies and Dissect That Film and a whole bunch of other podcasts. We all do action movies for the whole month. So for July, I'll be doing Beast of War, which is an Australian shark movie with a practical shark, which is really cool. You can find me anywhere on social media, YouTube, at Bucket of Chum or at Bucket of Chum Podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll link to that in the podcast description. So if people want to click on that, they can. Steve, Captain Steve, thanks so much for your service. Thanks so much for joining me and renting this beautiful movie.
I had an absolute blast. Thank you so much for having me on. And I might just go rewatch this movie right now and maybe participate in some of the scenes. I don't know. We'll see.
The end. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Forgotten Video Store. Share this podcast with all your friends and, of course, strangers on the subway. When Gilmore Girls was coming out on DVD in the early 2000s, the sets included these little booklets with glossaries of all the numerous pop culture references that Rory and Lorelai made on the show. I'm doing something similar on Letterboxd, where I'm keeping a list of the movies we've referenced on Forgotten Video Store. I bring this up because next week on this podcast, we may have finally gone too far with the movie references, because there were at least 27 different movies that we referenced over the course of the episode. So film fanatics, be sure to catch that one. It also happens to be a fantastic episode. Forgotten Video Store is a slop-free zone. We never use any AI for any part of the production of this podcast. The music in this episode was Funky Energy, looped by Kevin MacLeod and Comptech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Okay, bye!